Good afternoon, students. In the earlier class, we had a discussion over the certain important tribal movements which taken place in India, particularly the period between the 1757 to 1857, and between these period between these years, there are some unknown tribal movements also taken place, and few of them we have to see those things in this class, right? So before going to these things, I have to uh, uh, I have to give certain salient features for these tribal movements, and we'll see certain common causes, common factors which are responsible for the rise of uprisings, such uprisings among the tribal communities in India, all over the Indian territories on both sides. Okay. So, first of all, we have a glance over certain salient features. Okay, so then we'll move to those unknown tribal uprisings, which you will get in a certain rare books. Okay, so the tribals responded to their exploitation and oppression in the form of revolts and movements, and they identified their enemies in the outsiders like Tikus and landlords, uh, moneylenders, um, and Kakedars. Okay, so and missionaries and European government officials, and they launched movements against their oppression in their respective regions. Their hesitations against the outsiders could be called uh, be uh, uh, be called anti-national. Okay, so they revolted against them because of their exploitation in the form of encroachment on their land, eviction from their land, annulment of their traditional legal and social rights and customs, and against the enhancement of rent, and their traditional legal and social rights and customs also, and for transfer of land to the tiller, and abolition of feudal and semi-feudal form of land ownership. Okay, so on the whole, these movements had social and religious overtones, and but they were directed against the issues related to their existence. These movements were launched under leadership of their respective chiefs. Okay, so although the movements initially began on the social and religious issues and against the oppression of the outsiders. In the course of time, they merged with the national movement and with the no tax campaign also. Okay, so the tribals fought against their enemies with their traditional weapons like the bows, arrows, lathis, and axes are like that, and axes are like that, and their movement often took a violent turn, resulting in the murder of the oppressors and the burning of their houses. Okay, so most of the movement were ruthlessly suppressed by the government, and the tribals had to comply with the British policies, which were detrimental to their interest. And the government introduced protective administration in the tribal areas. The government thought that the normal laws could not be applied in the tribal areas. Okay, so the government passed the Scheduled District Act in 1874, and categorized the tribal areas as excluded areas in the Government of India Act 1935. Okay, so we'll see some major tribal movements in India, and before going to our this movement, these such tribal revolts, unknown tribal revolts, and I have to share my screen in a motion picture. So I try to show you some motion picture about these tribal and peasant movements. It's a 15-minute documentary. I will show you first. If it is runs successfully, or if you get this picture, I will show you. Otherwise, if any technical issue or arises, just I explain. Chinnage, are you getting my voice? Chinnage? Chinnage, are you getting my voice? Chinnage, are you getting my voice?
హలో సార్
వాయిస్ వినిపిస్తుందా?
సార్
నా వాయిస్ వినిపిస్తుందా?
క్లారిటీ వస్తలేదు సార్, క్లారిటీ లేదు సార్ వాయిస్.
నా వాయిస్ అసలు వినిపిస్తుందా మీకు?
వినిపిస్తుంది సార్, లైట్గా ఉంది, వాయిస్ రావట్లేదు గట్టిగా. హలో సార్.
ఓకే ఓకే, నేనేం ఇవ్వట్లేదు, వాయిస్ ఓవర్ ఇవ్వట్లేదు, ఓన్లీ
ఓకే ఓకే
స్క్రీన్ మీద మాత్రమే చూపిస్తున్నా నేను.
ఓకే
కనిపిస్తుందా స్క్రీన్ మీకు?
కనిపిస్తుంది సార్.
రైట్, ఓకే. సో అది అయిపోయిన తర్వాత, మోషన్ పిక్చర్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత నేను ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తాను మళ్ళీ.
ఓకే ఓకే సార్.
Okay, this is about the Santal rebellion. We already discussed in the last classes. One of the greatest rebellion which inspired many of the tribes. Uh, uh, Nearly the central part of India, mostly covered by this Santal rebellion. Okay, so next one is the Kasi. Kasi rising is also a important purely tribal uh, uh, uprising. Okay, so where you are well known that the Kasi tribe were living in the Jaintia Hills, which is in between the Garo and the Jaintia Hills in the northeastern part. Okay, so which is in the Brahmaputra Valley. Okay, so which is also against the interference of the Britishers in the lives of these classes. Okay, so and another one is the Pagal Panthi, a revolt which is not a tribal revolt, which is influenced by the religious aspects, basically. Okay, so where you find such the fakirs in this, particularly about the Majnu Shah and Karam Shah, who played an important role in it. Okay, so and Farajis were also a peasant movement, and not a tribal movement, but which also played a very important role. Okay, so in our syllabus, uh, we had the both so tribal on the one hand and peasants is the other hand, right? So both these tribal and peasant movements are we have to go very simultaneously. Okay, so but we already discussed about such peasant revolts, and we are concentrating on these tribal movements. Okay, so Pond uprising also another tribal movement, which is an important movement which taken place in the areas of this Orissa and. With this Pond uprising, which is supported by certain other tribal called as Savaras. Okay, so Radhakrishna Dandasena, one of the important leader from the Savaras, who greatly supported the courts. Okay, so the main cause of the courts was interference of these Britishers, where the Britishers, the colonial rulers were abolished a important tradition in the courts were the human sacrifice. Okay. So another one is the police rising, which is also another tribal uprising, one of the important tribal uprising. Okay. So another one is we're watching on the screen is the Kutch Rebellion, which began with the British interference in the internal affairs of this Kutch region of Gujarat. Okay, so in 1819, the British defeated and deposed the Kutch ruler Rao Baramal in favor of his infant. Okay, so the British placed their resident so that these people were against the against these colonial policy. Okay, colonial rulers. Another one is the Vagera rising. We already discussed in the morning class. Okay, so which is also resentment against the alien rule coupled with the exactions of Gaikwad of Baroda, supported by the British government, compelled the Vagera chiefs of Mandala take up arms. Okay, so these Vageras also had a great fight against these colonial rulers. And another one is this is also the Ramosi rising, which is Ramosis were the hill tribes, which is also another important tribe revolt in the Western Ghats, discontent with British pattern of administration. Their leader, Chittor Singh, revolted and plundered the region around Satara, the deposition and banishment of Raja Pratap Singh. Okay, so and apart from that, another one is the Deccan Riots, which mostly Western, it's taking place in the Western part. Okay, so Maharashtra. The Deccan Riots of 1875 highlight the social transformations brought about the Deccan region of Western India during the first 5 decades of British rule. The Deccan Riots were an offshoot of this excessive government land revenue. The money lenders give unjust tax and money from the peasants. Okay, so which is another important revolt which mobilized the peasant in the western part. Okay, so and many parts adjoining to these Ahmednagar like Pune were very much influenced. And another most important tribal revolt was this revolt against the English East India Company in between 1817 and 19. Okay, so which is also against the British policies, and we'll see the northern part, the peasant and tribal movements which taken place in the northern part. Okay, so in the northern part, we already discussed about the movement in the morning session, which is nothing but in the morning class is nothing but the Wahhabi movement was essentially an Islamic revivalist movement founded by Shaykh Ahmad of Raebareli during 1820 to 1827, 1870, which condemned the Western influence on the Islam and advocated the return to pure Islam. It transformed into religious political movement. Okay, so likewise, which also another important movement had which mobilized the peasants in the northern part. Okay, so another one is the Kuka revolt, which is Kuka movement was a religio-political movement founded in 1840 by Bhagat Jawahar in Western Punjab, and abolition of the caste similar discrimination among the Sikhs, discouraging the eating of meat and taking of alcohol, drugs, and encouraging women to step out of seclusion were the demands of the Kuka movement. And after the British took the Punjab, which is expanded to other places also. Okay, so when you see certain peasant movements and tribal movements in the southern part, the best peasant movement is the greatest movement is the Kittur uprising. The Kittur uprising was perhaps one of the first uprising where women leader fought against British Raj. Shivalinga Rudra Sarja, the king of Kittur, and Rani Chennamma were hairless and had adopted Mallas Raja, the Kittur, heir of Kittur. Chennamma's rule on the behalf of the minor prince after the death of the king was refused by Thakare, and then collector and political agent of the Arwar. Okay, so Thakare invaded Kittur, then Rani Chennamma fight against the oppression. Okay, so another one is the Polygas revolt when the territories of Vijayanagara Empire fell in the hands of the East India Company, and there arose a conflict between the company officials and Polygas on the issue of the tax collection. Took place and another one is the Travancore Diwan Velu Tambi's revolt, another important peasant movements. Okay, so in the southern India, and Diwan Velu Tambi revolt, which is the East India Company's harsh condition, imposition of the subsidiary alliance causing a deep resentment in the state of Travancore. The ruler of the Travancore failed to pay the subsidy and fell areas. A long and bitter struggle ensued. The Velu Tambi was injured, and which is also another important moment you see in the southern part of India. And another one is the revolt of Raja of Vijayanagara, began in 1765, when the East India Company acquired the territories of Raja of Vijayanagara, which extended over the northern circles. And the Raja, along with the subjects, fought a battle against the British in the year 1794. The Raja died in the battle and subsequently company offered the escape to his son with certain privileges. Okay, so and these are certain important things to be discussed we all in the earlier classes. And now we are going to see some unknown tribal movements, because the well-known tribal movements we already covered, like the Santal rebellion and Bill's uprising and Poles, and many other Chuas, and many other tribal revolts we already uh, covered. Okay. So, and apart from those, uh, okay. So apart from those, we have to go with certain unknown tribal uprisings. Okay, so which taken place along with certain important tribal revolts and some of the revolts which happened in the remote places of Indian territory. Okay, so among them, I have to give you these certain things, some of the important revolts. Okay, so the first among them is the Tamar revolt. Okay, so Tamar. Okay, so Tamar revolt of 1789 and 1832. Okay, so the tribals of Tamar revolted over 7 times between the 1789 uh, 1789 to 1832 against the British. And they were joined in the revolt by the tribes of adjoining areas like the Midnapur, Kolipur, Dada, Chessila, Jalda, and Silli. And they revolted against the faulty alliance system of the government. And the Tamar revolts were led by the Bolanath Shah Tamar in 1832. The arrows of war circulated throughout the region. Orans, Mundas, Poles, who had distinct social and cultural identity, joined the insurgents under the leadership of Ganga Narayan Singh, a member of Banbum Raj family. Okay, so the tribals murdered the Dikus in each village of the areas, and they burnt and plundered their houses. But the movement was suppressed by the government in 1832 and 33, and the whole country was annexed as a government estate. Simple rules of the administration were drawn up to the system of administration, the system of government through the whole tribal, it was maintained. Okay, so uh, tribal upside like the Tamar and Hos, Chuar are the linked this tribal movement in the western part, northwestern part. Okay, so another one is the Kherwar movement of Santals. Okay, so you are well known that the Santal movement, which is taken place in 1835 onwards, and ended before 1833. Okay, so there is another movement in the Santals called as the Kherwar movement of Santals, which happened in 1833. And this movement was motivated by the desire to return to an idealist past of tribal independence. The word Kherwar is said to be an ancient name of the Santals and their opinion, and it is linked to a golden age of their history. At the time, the Santals, Kherwars were supposed to be have enjoy absolute independence. They had to pay tribute to their chief for the protection which he provided to them. And this movement started under the charismatic leader of Bhagirathi Mazi, and he assumed the title of Babaji. And he announced that he would restore the golden age for the Santals. And if they return to the worship of God and clear themselves from their sins. Okay, so he hoped to liberate them from the oppression of officials, landlords, and moneylenders. He exhorted them to worship the Hindu god Ram, identifying him with the Santal Chaudo. Okay, so he banned the Santal speaks and falls. He assured them that their land would be recovered and given back to them. He explained their oppression as a divine punishment for not worshipping God and for returning to the veneration of the minor and evil spirits. Okay, so the imposed on the Santas the rules and behavior which reflected the Hindu notion of purity and pollution. This movement took a more political turn later to driving the non-Santals out of their habitat. Okay, so you are well known that the Santal revolt already taken place in the 1855-56, which is the great revolt we already discussed, where the important leaders who participated and mobilized the whole Santal like the Sidhu and Kangu, and they also had various 35,000 Santals actively participated to mobilize the whole Santal villages. Okay, so apart from this, another unknown tribal revolts was that Bokta rising, which is Sardari Larai or the Mukti Larai movement of 1858-95. Okay, so this movement took place in the various parts of Chota Nagpur, and it aimed at regaining the tribal sanctioned right on land by expelling the hated landlords. Okay, so according to certain these historians, this movement evolved through three phases. One is the agrarian phase, next one is the revivalistic phase, and the political phase. And the first two phases were marked by the clashes between the landlords and the tribal tenants. And the tribal tenants revolted against the rise in rent eviction from land and harassment of tenants by the landlords. And during this period, recurrent clashes took place between the landlords and the tenants. And from 1890, the Sardar movement turned against all Europeans, both missionaries and officials who were suspected to be collaborating with the landlords. And people thought that British rule was the main cause of the maladies and they could be happy only when it ended. Okay, so when the constitutional means did not yield, the tribals became violent. They used their traditional weapons such as the bows and arrows. In September 1892, the Sardars hatched a conspiracy to kill the contractors and German missionaries. But their plan misfired because they had no organized to rally behind. These tribals looked for a new leader. This leadership was provided to them by Birsa Munda. Okay, so you are well known that the Munda uprising is one of the important revolt taken place in 1895 and 1901. Okay, so before this Birsa Munda entry, this movement has taken place. Okay, so after the movement has successfully gained, and there are certain other movements also we'll see, like a Devi movement in Gujarat, which taken place in 1922-23, but it is in the next phase. Okay, so we are in the two phases. We are discussing about the movements taken place in between the 1757 to 1920. Okay, so after 1920, any movement has come under the tribal or the peasant. We will see it is in those in the next phase. Okay, so we will complete those phase where such movements like the Devi movement in Gujarat, which taken place in 1922-23, and the tribal movement in Midnapur, 1918 and 1924. Okay, so such Jittu Santals movement in Malda, 1924-32. Okay, so all this movement and there are a movement which is similarly, tribal movement is similarly gone with the national movement in Orissa in 1921 to 30. So these movements we'll see in the next class as a part of third phase. Okay, so students, this is end of my class, and you have any queries or doubts regarding my class, you are welcome to ask. Chinan आ गया? Any doubts? Okay, right. So I am ending my class. Thank you. Thank you very much.